Yo, what up, what up, what up, what up? We back with another episode of Whispering to Your Soul. I'm your host, King Jaquil Martin, and I am here with the lovely A. Noel. Introduce yourself to everybody, A. Noel.
What's up, world? It's your girl, A. Noel. I'm usually behind the camera. I'm a producer, multi hyphenate, actor, writer, all that good stuff. It's good to be here tonight.
Awesome, awesome. And in the bottom right corner, we got my man, the myth, the legend, and the man who walked the earth before Jesus walked, Mr. C. Prince himself. What up, C. Prince?
How y'all doing tonight?
Give
I'm
him a little brief
relaxed.
introduction. A child who Charlie Prince is in the Book of CeeLo.
Yep. No introduction. You know who I am.
That's all good. Well, welcome back. I know we took a little break. You know what I mean. We had the Christmas and for January we took off a little break, and then we had the LA fires that was going on that was happening out here. And so, what did you guys do during the LA fires? Tell us how you handled the LA fires. And see, Prince, did you have any family members that actually lived in California that was affected by the LA fires?
Yeah, I did. I mean, they handled it well. Uh, hey, the only thing I gotta say is, bless them. A lot of people say I don't understand, but hey, they did what they did.
What?
Yeah,
What's that mean?
yeah, they did.
What are your thoughts, Secrets? What do you think they did?
They survived.
That's good. A lot of people did survive. Hey Noel, I know you live in LA. I know you live in the Hollywood area. So how did the fires affect you?
Oh man, it was one of the most scariest moments of my life because I had to evacuate. I saw my neighbors running around looking crazy. It felt like doomsday, and I'm making phone calls to my family, letting them know, "Hey, if something happens to me, this is what to do. This is what to do. Here's the book of if I'm dead, this is this is what you need to do." It was that real for me, and it got to a point where I was looking over my life, and I quit my job. So it was that real for me. Had to make moves for the best of my livelihood and the best for my family.
Okay, when you say you quit your job, why do you feel like you had to quit your job?
The job I had did not care about their employees to the point where their house was actually on fire, and that was the exact location where I was working at. And they wanted us in office less than 24 hours after the fires happened. And I said, "Not me. You ain't gonna catch me there." So it was either I stand on my principles or I let them play me. And I decided to stand on my principles.
Well, first and foremost, I'm glad everyone is actually safe. Everyone's safe, correct, at your job?
Yeah, everyone is safe. One of my coworkers, it was very scary for them. They almost lost their place, but everyone is safe and sound.
Thank God that everyone's safe and sound. It definitely was something very scary. I actually live by Hollywood myself, and I was dealing with the Runyon Canyon fires. Shout out to Roddy. I was actually doing a interview with Roddy on the Whispering to Your Soul intimate conversations that we were having. And in the middle of our interview, as you can see in the backdrop, in the middle of our interview, man, my neighbors are running by. They were beating on the door. You got to get out, get out, get out, get out, get out right now. Evacuate, evacuate. Everything's on fire. And so we finished the podcast interview like, I don't know, crazy. I guess we really love the work. We finished the interview, which will be coming out soon for Whispering to Your Soul Intimate Conversations. You'll get a chance to see the interaction of how we were in the midst of the fire and actually doing the interview at the same time. But what was crazy was when I did get outside the building, man, it looked like it was raining fire everywhere, like from the ambers, from the ashes, from the traffic. Because if you were driving, traffic was so backed up, you couldn't get anywhere. From people getting out their cars and just making a run for it, trying to figure out what their next move was going to be. I mean, it was really like a movie. It looked like the apocalypse or something like that, when you came outside. And for the first time in my life, out of all the years that I've been alive, it was actually really raining fire, and I've never seen anything like it. The smoke was everywhere. You couldn't see the sky because there was so much smoke, and there was so much pandemonium because that's something that you don't prepare for. And I personally feel like, this whole situation with the fires was not all Mother Nature. As you can see,
Mhm.
it catch some people that was committing arson. I personally believe there was more so like gentrification by fire. How do you build LA 2.0 when LA is already here? So I feel like you got to get rid of some things. And I've found it very curious, allegedly, that the fire insurance was canceled right before all these measures fire hit. I found it very intriguing that the fireman budget was cut by 17 million. I think it's crazy that we live by a body of water, but we couldn't get water to the fires. We had people, and shout out to all the firefighters that came from everywhere, you know what I mean, that participated in putting out all these fires so things can get back to normal. So I evacuated. I evacuated to South Carolina and to Atlanta because I was like, if I need to find another place to live, then I need to start making preparations now. So shout out to, people who were donating, who set up donation stations, that was out there giving, because so many people lost their homes and so many families lost their childhood memories. There are so many people that lost so many different things that were important to them. And there are a lot of homeless people right now because of the fire. So shout out to all the programs that, one, that are dedicating money to the people who lost their homes. Two, to the people who were giving their clothes off their backs. You had a lot of different celebrities and people donating so many clothes and food and all the things that they can donate. So I love to see people come together. That's only proof that the human spirit is still real and people still care about each other. What are your thoughts, Noel?
It's just deeply emotional. I feel the same way. My heart especially goes out to the city of Altadena, knowing the history of John Brown, the white abolitionist, as well as several other freedmen who decided to build the city of Altadena for Black folks to thrive many, many years ago. So the fact that, unfortunately, a lot of that history was lost due to the fires, my heart deeply goes out to them. I understand that, we hear so much about the Pacific Palisades, and I know that pain transcends race, but I think that there was not enough being talked about in regards to the city of Altadena. So my heart really does go out to them. In terms of like having to evacuate, yeah, I flew back to my hometown. I flew back to Tacoma to make sure that I was safe, doing what I had to do. And I think when you're in the midst of a crisis, that's when your true humanity and who you are really comes through. And I saw a lot of people who deeply cared, not only about their fellow man, but people that really cared about me as a human, not for the title that I have, not for what I can do for them, but they really cared about me and who I am just as a human being. So I really appreciated everyone that opened their homes to me, fed me when I did not know when I was going to get my next meal. Like, I really appreciate my community here and in Tacoma, Washington.
Yeah, big shout out to Chris and Nick, a good friend of ours, who actually opened up their home and they allowed us to evacuate from the area that we were in because their area was a lot safer. And if the fire had moved a lot closer to them, that they had an evacuation plan ready to go. So big ups to them. Thank you for opening up your home. See, Prince, how did it affect your family and friends? How did the fire affect your family and friends that were here? You're on mute, C Prince.
Oh, you on mute.
No, I was joking. Nah, but all jokes aside, most of my family just left. It ain't nothing but, you can't fight Mother Nature. You know what I'm saying? When she wants to reclaim, either move on or wait it out. They moved on. They back there, so they really ain't talking about it. So I really don't know how they affect it because our culture is survivors. So pick up and restart, rebuild. That's it.
Well, I'm glad your family's safe. To anyone who might have lost a loved one in the fire, may they rest in power and love. Sorry for your loss. To anyone who's lost their home, I pray that you're able to reach out to all the different programs that are out there that are assisting people that are in this situation. I pray that you get the resolve and these people aren't just saying it for show, because sometimes people offer different solutions but don't have the follow through. But I feel like we're LA strong. I feel like LA really came together to support different people. And shout out to everyone who actually donated to anyone who lost anything to this fire. And for me, I don't believe it was a natural disaster at all. I don't think the Ambers flew all the way from Santa Monica to Altadena or to the Palisades, and it was just because of the wind. I don't believe that one bit. You have too many different videos, people throwing gasoline tanks, too many people running around with blowtorches, and people setting fires. So I do think it was an agenda. That's just my personal opinion. Allegedly, I believe that it was agenda, and there's too many things that were falling in place that created so much destruction. So I'm not just going to say it was Mother Nature that did this. I'm not going to say Mother Nature wasn't a part of it, but I do believe that mankind also was a part of it for an agenda. And it's just interesting because we have the Olympics coming in 2028. It's interesting because we have the smart city, but how do you build a smart city when there's a city already here? And then also with the land sharks, all these people who lost their homes already, you have the land sharks out there already offering money for their property, knowing that they lost any and everything. So it's like catching someone at their most vulnerable moment to be able to sell their property. So that way you can buy it for dirt cheap and then build the smart city and force higher prices on people when they want to come back. So that's just my opinion, allegedly. So let's move on to this next topic. Shout out to Kendrick. Shout out to Kendrick. We got a big time halftime show from Kendrick. You had a lot of people that liked it. You had a lot of people that claimed they didn't like it. You have a lot of people that loved the part where they actually had to think because it's art at work and it wasn't just twerking and entertainment. So let's go ahead and get your all opinions about the halftime Super Bowl show. C Prince, you're up first. Oh, this is about to be good.
Man, I if you're looking for entertainment value on it, it was a boring show, to be honest.
Okay.
But he wasn't there to put on a show. He was there to put on a statement.
Exactly.
So the statements that he made were very interesting and stuff like that. You know, they thought they was going to get him out there to do that fun-loving diss tracks and stuff and make fun of his culture at the same time. But he flipped it on them and he said, let me bring attention to this, and I'm going to still get the ones I don't like. But I'm going to say a lot of things that you didn't think I was going to say. And like they said, this was televised and worldwide. This mess up. This is one of the biggest mistakes that the NBA, or I call them NBA, they might as well have been the NBA that day. The NFL, because it was too black for them. You know what I'm saying? This is something the NBA would have done, not the NFL. You know, they get rid of people like this.
I'll call Kaepernick, IE.
Yeah, they don't let you make no statement on their world platform like this, and you know, this might be the end of somebody picking the axe from now on. You know, because he thought he would have taken belt too, but yeah.
Would you be referring to Jay-Z?
Oh, Joe Butt too. You know, you thought you were going to have your old lucky dude, a step and fetching brother.
Are you referring to Jay-Z?
No.
Are you referring to Jay-Z?
Yeah, I'm returning that dude. That dude right there.
Not that dude.
That dude might not be picking next year.
You said that dude.
That dude.
Shout out to Jay-Z, who was
I ain't being funny
in the hip hop game. Shout out to him. Shout out to Jay. Giving Kendrick.
He might come back to a low fade after this. Get rid of them dreads because you don't want to be.
We're not doing that. Shout out to the legend, Jay-Z. We're not going to disrespect you on this platform. You're a legend. Thank you for everything that you've done. Shout out to giving K-Dot the opportunity to be able to perform what he did. Let's get to A. Noel and find out how she felt about it.
Okay, so I'm echoing C Prince. So I definitely think that somebody's gonna get the boot. They're gonna get kicked out. I personally love the halftime show, but I don't know. I love to think. I love art for art's sake. I love art that has a message. And I don't know why people thought Kendrick was not gonna come with the message. He's done these same type of performances for as long as I can remember, even on the Grammy stage. So I don't know who allegedly made the mistake to have this person perform, but I think that it was a genius move. In the clip, if y'all saw a person holding up the Sudan Free Sudan, Free Palestine, that actually was not originally part of the show. And as you could see, just for like a 0.5 seconds toward the end of the film, there were actually security people chasing this dude off
Let's
the
show the
GNA.
clip real quick. Let's show that clip real quick. He snuck
So
off
if you
real
can
quick.
see,
Yeah, you
dude
see him
was
sneak
getting
off the car.
he getting chased out. So he's not even part of the show. But I say shout out to that nameless man that made a statement to free Sudan, free Palestine. It's interesting how in this country we talk about the First Amendment rights and whatnot, but then it's only available to certain statements. And no, if we're talking about First Amendment rights, freedom of speech for all, okay, then stand 10 toes down. So I feel like that person exercised their right to speak freely about a situation that is completely damaging on the other side of the world. So shout out to them. Shout out to Kendrick for using his platform to speak about what's going on in America, and AKA the light-skinned Canadian. I'm gonna leave it like that, allegedly. And shout out to the NFL, whether they decided that it was intentional or not. I'm so glad that we are able to speak freely about how we're feeling. And then to wrap it up in a bow, I thought it was highly entertaining. I was thoroughly entertained. I loved it. It was not meant to be a show for entertainment's sake. If they want to do something for entertainment's sake, Kendrick was not the move. He's always there to have a message. And if they want to be entertained, they need to find somebody that's going to do something cute. So I know that we're going to have some country bumpkin type stuff next time. We're going to have some John Bon Jovi type things for years to come. I do not see us having another act for our culture anytime soon.
Go ahead, C Prince.
I'm gonna say this, hey, they should have went with the safe bet. You that personal beef gets to you, who you make a decision with, it blew up in your face. I guarantee they wish they had the Hot Boys and all them there. They wish they had Lil Wayne performing.
Yeah, did you see his picture with Lil Wayne and Trump?
Lil Wayne would have toured the stadium. Now it would have been a party, but they wanted a party, not a statement. You see what I'm saying? Now the statement's been made, and guess what? All I could do is sit there like this. I'm gonna use the statement that Trump say. He don't support the loser. I guess he didn't support the Chiefs when he came in. He didn't. And Kendrick won. He got his message across to the whole world. And guess what? Ain't nobody can say you can't erase this. You can't erase this statement that he did. He took shots about everybody. You know what I'm saying? And he put it in your face unapologetically. So you got what you asked for. You should.
I will say that I thought it was a beautiful performance personally. I was thoroughly entertained. I think sometimes we have become the microwave generation where we want to get things so simple. We don't want to have to think about it. We just want it to be right there. But a lot of people didn't notice the PlayStation controller. A lot of people didn't know the code that was highlighted with the buttons when you pressed the certain buttons. And the certain order was actually a cheat code. I won't even tell you the game. You have to go look it up for yourself, do your own research, stop being lazy. A lot of people didn't see a lot of subliminal references to why he picked Samuel L. Jackson to play Uncle Sam. A lot of people did the research in the videos where he showed the light pole from a commercial and how he supposedly picked certain females that used to date Drake and why he picked that, right? People are trying to throw Serena under the bus.
Serena.
They forgot that Serena did the same crip walk in the Olympics. And that had nothing to do with Drake, but it had to do with everything of how she celebrated and then how she got it treated afterwards. And they were making a statement with that. I think there's so many different subliminal messages that people can break down in this, but it reminds me of this guy on Instagram, and I forgot his name, but he used Shakespeare as an example. A lot of people don't understand Shakespeare, but that doesn't mean Shakespeare isn't beautiful. just because you don't take the time to understand Shakespeare. And for those who do understand Shakespeare, they actually enjoy it. And the Shakespeare actually has a beautiful legacy. You know what I mean? You still in New York have different plays like Hamilton. They come from Shakespeare, right? So for those who like to think, for those who like to do their research, for those who like to something to actually have a message, I thought it was brilliant. I thought it was brilliant. Are you not entertained? Why? Because you had to think? Is it that bad that we came to a point where we don't want to think no more? We just wanted to dance and twerk it or whatever. Get it, say, is that all we are now? We don't want to actually use our brain. For me, I loved it. For me, I appreciate somebody being unapologetic of who they actually are. Because what trips me out, right, is when, shout out to the President Trump, when he says something bold or he says something stupid or whatever he says, right? It's, oh, he was bold enough to make a statement. He's a real man. But when you have someone like Kendrick that made a bold statement for his people or for his viewpoint of what's going on in the world, then all of a sudden we want to throw people under the bus. Let's make it make sense. He made a statement. I thought it was a powerful statement. And it's crazy that he's willing to say majority of the things that you're thinking. Mm-hmm. But it's crazy how you don't want to say it until it happens to you.
Oh.
Until you go through your own racism, until you go through your own plight, until you go through your own situations, you don't want to say anything. You want to stay quiet. But you'll talk about someone who's willing to say something. But then when it actually happens to you, all of a sudden you want to cry out for help and act like you want to be a part of it all because it finally happened to you. That's just my perspective or opinion. See, Prince, you feel like you might have something to say. Go ahead.
I mean, the only thing you can say out this situation is now the NFL is changing its rules on how they pick artists to perform at the Super Bowl. But, he's a big influence on this.
But why? Why do you think you have to change anything? Why? What did he do wrong? We're saying it as if he did something wrong. What did he do?
I didn't say he did something wrong. I'm just saying they changed the policy.
That's my point. Why? And that's exactly why I love the whole strategy about it being a game. And when Samuel L. Jackson said, "Do you understand the rules?" Oh, we want it to be nice and calm and smooth. Oh. There you go. That's what America wants. Why is it that we have to do something like that? Because if we actually stand out, then the game has to change. What's wrong with us saying what we need to say? What did he do wrong?
I didn't say he did anything wrong.
I'm not saying he said it, but what I'm saying is he didn't kill nobody. He didn't disrespect. I mean, he did. I mean,
hold on.
Let me catch myself with that. What I will say is he made a statement for all the right reasons. To me. And the only other thing is let's do this Drake thing. Let's go do this Drake thing real quick. I know Drake tried to sue. I know he didn't want that song played at the Super Bowl. But for me, just for me, because I act like I was never a Drake fan or I didn't listen to Drake music, that would be totally cap because I was. Right? Yeah, I did enjoy Drake's music, absolutely. So here's my thing though. You can't get in a rap battle, talk about a man's family, talk about a man's child, say whatever you want to say, and then when that person retaliates, then you want to get in your feelings. If that's not the type of interest of music that you want to make, then don't have a rap battle and get into those type of situations. Just keep making music. But the fact that you did get in there, you did try to throw dirty laundry around, you did try to say any and everything and then hide your hand later, I didn't think that was cool. I didn't think that was cool. And technically, all you did was help catapult Kendrick, even though Kendrick has won awards before. You know what I'm saying? It's not like that was his first Grammy. You helped catapult Kendrick to a whole nother level. Yes. Did it make the song better because it was about you? Yes. If you're in the number one spot and someone knocks you out that spot, of course it's going to magnify the situation. But if you don't put yourself in that situation, you will probably still be number one right now. So technically, you kind of did it to yourself. Just my opinion. Noelle, you got something to say about that?
I do want to say a couple things. So in terms of Kendrick, this man has won a Pulitzer Prize for his music. A Pulitzer. Though that award is one of the most prestigious and tough awards to receive, especially for a rapper to receive that. So, and not to say that Drake has left an incredible legacy. He has, as far as his music. But I just want to also say, like, we don't personally know these people. We don't know what type of dirt foolery that's happened behind the scenes. You know, the music industry is a very dangerous game. We don't know all the ins and outs of what's going on with them. Like, we're in entertainment as a whole, and of course we're also actors, and you know, King, you and I are actors and all that, but we know film and TV has their own set of rules. They have, of course, there's certain things that are a little bit in the gray area, but for the most part, theater, TV, film, commercial, there's a set of rules that you understand. With the music industry, it is like the wild, wild west. We do not know the ins and outs of their deals. We don't know what has happened. We don't know who has crossed who. So just saying straight up off rip, in terms of the music and the battle, for me, Kendrick won. That's why he turned the TV off. Click. He won. My whole thing is next steps. If these allegations of sexual assault, pedophilia, and what have you are true,
allegedly,
that's why I said. That's why I said allegedly. If it comes out to be true, then what is next? Because it's one thing to say, "Hey, this dude is a weirdo. He's a creep." Da da da. Okay, cool. I'm also interested in seeing, okay, what happens after that. If these allegations are true about Drake and what have you, then what? That's my question.
She said pedo. Correction, pedo for the channel. Because, you know, you really can't say the main word. So pedo, allegedly. Just an opinion. Cool. Let's move on to the next subject then. Let's see, Prince, did you have anything else about that one?
You know you don't want me to say it because you're going to be canceled. So we're going to move on.
Oh,
go ahead and go.
Man.
No, we ain't.
Oh,
man. No. We going on.
White people are upset that Kendrick Lamar's halftime show did not include any white dancers. They're calling it exclusionary and racist. But hold the fuck up! Aren't these the very same people claiming that DEI isn't fair? Who believe in meritocracy and that companies should just hire the best person for the job? And that diversity efforts are just forced inclusion? So white people, let us get this straight together. We are saying that when historically white spaces stay white, that's just the way things are. But when a black artist celebrates black dancers in a performance celebrating black culture, suddenly we're upset by this? Kendrick's performance was not about exclusion, it was about authenticity. And black artists do not exist to make you comfortable and to keep us in our fragile little bubbles. And maybe remember the quote that if art doesn't make you question something, then it's just an advertisement. I hope this helps.
That was a bar. I like that, Joe. Noel, your first crack at this.
It made me giggle. It made me, without getting, man, look, I'm grown. I was playing. Okay, so it's so funny how when we talk about DEI, in my personal opinion, it's become the new dog whistle for Black. And like I said, this is my personal opinion. Not too long ago, the term woke was meaning Black. That's BLM. Oh, everyone's up in arms. Diversity. Oh, these Black. And it's always this default of the government giving something to Black people. So I want to say, I have like a little story to share. Just before I quit my job, because it's smoke with them for the rest of my days, I had a coworker who stood up and had asked this person. They said, you know, I find it interesting that you have an issue with the term DEI, but if it's all about meritocracy and choosing the best person for the job, then why does it matter if the person's Black or white? And especially if Black women are the most educated, they are the ones that are most likely to have their own businesses, they're entrepreneurs. And then she called me out respectfully. She said, ain't Noel also getting her master's? So what is the issue if with DEI. To me, it just became a dog whistle. And then he turned around and could not answer the question. And so, long story short, I firmly agree with what this person is saying. With the whole term DEI, it's not about that. If we're talking about the best person for the job, guess what? It just so happened you weren't in those audition rooms. You didn't see who was auditioning for those shows, pop locking it, dropping it, and all that, doing a crip walk. It just so happens that they were all Black. Now, when it's interesting when you see other organizations that have majority white people, then that's not in question. Oh, they worked very hard. Why is it that when you see, just so happen to see a group of Black people who are in a very specific space that was handed to us? That's ridiculous to me. It's just another dog whistle. It's just another term to use to cause strife. And I'm over it. I think that person, whoever posted that, I think he's absolutely correct.
Awesome. See, Prince, you're up.
I think
Just say it, see, Prince, like it is. Say it like it is.
Do it.
All right, let's take it to this. Let's take it to the this inclusion part. You know, we gotta look at it.
Mm-hmm.
The cabinet of Trump, it got one Black person in his cabinet, 2 Latino, and the rest are
From the caucus mountains.
Caucasians. I hate to say it like that, but think about it. The brother, he's part of the, what is it, the urban? He's under the urban, right? So I guess that's the only position he can do. He come from an urban background, I guess, right? And then the 2 Latinos are part of the labor force. Ain't that something? The labor force. So if you look at what's going on, so you try to say out of all these 16 positions, the brother going to go to the urban, and the Latinos go to the labor force, and you don't see us up in uproar about that. You know what I'm saying? And you talking about dancing. I guess we didn't watch the Olympics. You see what happened? We tried to include. I guess we didn't watch the Olympics. You know, the breakdancing is canceled because we try to be inclusion. We should have just been brothers and Latinos for breakdancing in the Olympics. It would still be a sport. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not trying to be funny, but the proof is in the pudding. You know what I'm saying? So if this is a dancing competition, maybe it wasn't the right role for you right then. I hate to say it, you know. If we were playing like polo or soccer or something like that, yeah, it's gravy, but we taking that over too. So, so be mindful though. I don't understand. All jokes aside, you know, they getting rid of all this, saying that we need an even playing field. Now that's even, what you gonna do is when Blacks, Latinos, Chinese are better? Are you gonna hire them on their merit, or are you gonna disqualify them on their color? Understand this. Don't yell fire. There's no fire. You said we're gonna hire the best possible people to fill the position. A lot of them look like me. A lot of them are Latino. A lot of them are Chinese, Arabic. No, I'm gonna say it all. But guess what? On their appearance, they won't get hired. And you're talking about dancing for 15 minutes. I'm talking about jobs for a lifetime. So make it make sense. You were worried about 15 minutes of dancing. They probably got paid bare minimum or got it for a resume builder to interest, you know what I'm saying? So they can get other jobs.
Yeah, Kendrick didn't get paid for the Super Bowl.
So think about it. So they got this. This is a resume building for them. Exposure. I guarantee you, half the dancers you probably talk about wasn't going to do it because it was free. Understand that. 15 minutes worth of fame to a lifetime of discrimination against jobs. And you complaining. Make it make sense.
I'm glad you used the Olympics, C Prince. So let's go ahead and keep this in sports fashion.
What? The Olympics?
Super Bowl just happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
So at the Super Bowl, you had 2 black quarterbacks. I remember a time where they said black people couldn't play the quarterback position. They weren't smart enough, they weren't good enough, and they couldn't play it. Now we're at the highest level, and Patrick Mahomes is a black quarterback. He's one of the face of the leagues. Jalen Hurts, who was a black quarterback, actually won the Super Bowl this year. It's amazing how many black quarterbacks you have starting in the NFL now, when once upon a time, since we're looking for the best player, black people were not considered the best. They were considered too incompetent. To a Noel's point, black women are leading when it comes to degrees in college, as far as entrepreneurship. So if we're really grading on the curve of the best, who's determining what the best is? Because at one point in time, you only considered us 3/5. If America was actually really a fair playing field, what would America actually look like right now? And the crazy part about it is we had to be the rose that grew out of the concrete to become even in the position that we are. Because in one point in time, we were just slaves. Then we were freed Negroes that you still treat like slaves. And we're still living in the evolution of slavery right now, because you have 2 people that can do the same crime and one person get a maximum sentence and the other person will get a counseling statement. So when you say you're offering jobs to the best, who are you including as that description of what the best means? Because how do we know, how do you qualify what the best is? Because a lot of times people say make America great again. Well, when was America great? And whose America was it great for? Was it great for white people, or was it great for all? Because my question is the flag a lie? Because the flag claims that it represents freedom, liberty, and justice for all. That means all races. But does all races have freedom, liberty, and justice? Because when you look at the prison system, it seems like it's flooded with one race. So how do we get back to including the best? Because is everyone getting the same opportunities when it comes to school, in education, in high schools, in the areas that they live in, the quality of living and opportunities? Or are we still dealing with Rosewood and redlining and all these other different things, Tulsa, Oklahoma bombing? So whose best are we talking about? So I love the fact that you said that. And I pray that to your standard, when you say the best, you're talking about the best human being for the job. Because you better be careful what you ask for, because you're going to mess around and find out who's actually the best. Be careful. Because guess what? Sam Cooke told you a long time ago, a change is going to come. All right, let's move into this next subject that we got going on, you guys. Or did anybody else want to add into that last one before we move? Anybody had any last things they want to add?
Period. That's it.
All right. Well, let's move into this one, because this one's a doozy.
Did you hear about the Nazi demonstrators that showed up in a black town in Ohio? Well, things didn't turn out well for them.
Look at the niggers coming.
Hey, Carl. The cop's going to give us an escort to Freddie's car.
Look at the niggers coming.
They're all coming.
We're in the thick now, niggers.
Nah.
I'm ready to fight. Fuck them niggers.
This is Lincoln Heights, a small town just outside of Cincinnati, Ohio. Well, Lincoln Heights was founded in the 1920s as a town that was created for black people. So when these Nazi demonstrators showed up, showing off their flags, black people showed out in droves. The police were actually protecting the demonstrators. Eventually, they got them out there safely by putting them all in a U-Haul van. The crowd of black people took their flags and burnt them to the ground. After burning the flags to the ground, residents of Lincoln Heights expressed that they were fearful about something like this happening again, especially since the police were protecting the Nazi demonstrators. What do you think of this story? Leave a comment to let me know. I'm Tierka with the T. Follow for more.
See, Prince, you're up.
I heard about that. I got family that stay there. So You know, that's that BS that you be talking about right there. I'm straight up say it like that. You know, to me, all that kumbaya marching and sit-ins and whatever you want to say, singing them old Negro spiritual songs and stuff like that makes me sick to the stomach. Because guess what? Every time we march, it's always a peaceful march that turns out to a riot. When hate groups march, it starts off with hate and they don't leave in pieces. You understand? They should leave in pieces. You know what I'm saying? Because ain't nobody bothering them. So you came looking for something, somebody should give it to you. You know what I'm saying? It's not that this ain't a reflection of society. This is a reflection of a few. Understand that? Because most people get along, but you got a few that think that they are superior. You know what I'm saying? So at that same time, you should, you know, when you make stupid decisions, you should get stupid prizes. This is one of the stupid prizes. The police should have stepped out the way and let you get the stupid prize. You know what I'm saying? You came for it. You winner of the hospital. You winner of this funeral home. You won the stupid prize. You know what I'm saying? Because if you that bold and brazen, take your mask off. Because you know what? Everything that hides behind a mask is a coward. Because you're so proud of who you are and what you stand for, take your mask off. You know why you won't do it? Because it's easy being brave with a mask on. You can be whoever you want, that superhero. You know what I'm saying? Think about this. Superman died in the comic books. You ain't Superman. Understand that. But when you put that mask on, you go in there with that flat, and then you don't even know what that's what's gonna mean anyway, because you're so dumb anyway. You probably didn't get past the 5th grade education. I hate to say it. Or you went to some, you know, I don't know. I just don't get it. Because, you know, I ain't the one to tolerate it. I'm just not that one. I don't know. But everybody talk about it, but I ain't the one. I ain't the one.
Hey, Noel, you're up.
Okay. Going back to my first statement about freedom of speech, right? So people think that freedom of speech means I can say whatever I want. I can demonstrate however I want without consequence. It doesn't say freedom of speech, caveat, freedom without consequence. I feel like if you're going to run up, you're going to get done up. So I feel similar to see Prince, because I was out there marching when George Floyd was killed. I was out there protesting. Even in my hometown, we had our own incident. Rest in peace to Manny. He was killed by the police. So my whole thing is when people say like, oh, you're racist, or so-and-so is racist, or this is racist. No. Racism is systemic. When you look at the clip, the police were not going after those Nazis. They were protecting them, and they were going after the Black people. They were pushing the Black people away. That's what I don't understand. On top of that, see, Prince, you said that they're hiding behind their masks because they're cowards. Yeah, on top of that, they are your policemen. They are your tellers when you go to the bank. They are the store managers. They are the people that you go to see if you're sick. They're clinicians. They're your doctors. They're your nurses. These folks are out here, and they're hiding their face because they know what they're doing is wrong, but they also need money.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, yeah, allegedly. So It is very cowardly to do, absolutely. But also, it's because they're not trying to lose their money. They still want your money, even though they hate you, allegedly.
Hold on, time out. Why y'all keep saying allegedly? They said
Allegedly. Not turn his TV off.
See, Prince knows exactly why I'm saying that. The allegedly the channel and the person speaking. Because
Understandable.
For a fact, this is this or this is that. We have our assumptions and we have our true opinions, what we do believe to be true, but we don't know who's under the mask. We don't know all that. So we say allegedly.
We don't.
For protection.
We don't. That's very true. However, in the foundation of this country, we can just look at how was this country built? Off of human trafficking, off of pillaging the land. And those same people that were doing the pillaging and the ones that were pillaged still exist today. So long story short.
Allegedly.
Okay. Allegedly. Long story short, it's pretty disgusting that in that clip, to me, it was the prime example of systemic racism. And it's sad.
Go ahead, see Prince.
Now, I'm not.
No.
You know I ain't gonna say no allegedly because the clip said who they hated. I don't know who them fools are, so I ain't gonna say allegedly to somebody I don't know who the heck they are. If they gave their name, well, I'd say allegedly. But since these fools didn't give the courtesy to state who they were, them cowards, I'm not gonna say allegedly. They is what they is. They cowards. They go home. As a matter of fact, they got that U-Haul truck. They took the mask off. They was giving each other a high five like we did a statement. So why are we gonna say allegedly these cowards wasn't there? So allegedly these cowards wasn't there. We know they was there. These cowards was there. They just didn't want nobody else to know they was there.
Okay.
Because you know what?
What?
Now they got to be judged by everybody in their family. And guess what? Some of them got some of us in their family. And that's not allegedly. That's the truth.
That's a fact. That's just not a fact.
So guess what? They too ashamed to show who they are because now they got to answer to their peers. They don't believe like they believe. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it is.
Okay.
It's not alleged. We don't know who they are.
Thank you. So what I will say is this. I will say the system is working exactly how the system was designed to work. The system was designed to protect them. That's not allegedly because in the system it states that we're 3/5. So they were able to go out in that KKK outfit, call people racial slurs, and still be protected. Not only protected, but guided out of the situation to safety. They weren't called a gang, but if 2 or 3 black people stand together, we're considered a gang. So please tell me, how does it work when black people gather, they're considered gangs? And then when white people gather in groups, more than 3 people, all wearing the same uniform, using racial slurs, they're not considered a gang. They're not considered a threat. They're protected. They're making sure that they can get their message out, say whatever they want to say, and then they're properly escorted out of the situation where they don't wind up in situations like they could be in the hospital or the morgue, like C. Prince said. The system is working how the system is supposed to work. And that's only proof that the system wasn't designed for us. Because it's crazy how people can storm a building, take over a building with guns loaded and everything else and still get home safely. It's crazy how people can storm the White House and still get home safely. But when it comes to black people, we don't have the same opportunities. I remember I was watching a clip where the president's daughter or granddaughter said, you know, if black people did it, it would be a different outcome. Well, why is it different for black people and it's different for white people? I would love to know what the difference is. If anybody could ever explain what that difference is, because we're all equal and DEI says it goes to the best person and everything is equality. Please show me the equality. Respectfully, please show me, you know, where I seen a black officer kill a white little girl, right? And said he feared for his life and didn't spend no jail time. and still got to walk around freely? The system is what the system is, and it's set up the way it's set up, and this is just proof. See, Prince, I see you with your hand up, and I'm not going to let you talk, but go ahead.
Remember, this is not a reflection of the show.
No. This is why Kendrick did the game. We're going to move on to the next topic. Moving on to the next topic.
How was it, Muhammad, anyway, to be a Negro boy in the South?
We say black now.
All right, black. All right. Is it not the same thing?
What? No, Negro. We are taught that all people are named after country. Chinese are named after China. Cubans are named after Cuba. Irish people are named after Ireland. Indonesians named after Indonesia. Japanese are named after Japan. Australians are named after Australia. But there's no country named Negro.
All right, then let me.
You understand?
I understand.
You're not as dumb as you look.
Let me read.
So shout out to the great Muhammad Ali. See, Prince, you take this one because you were probably born before Muhammad Ali. Go for it.
What he said is correct. But there's also no country named black as well.
Oh.
So the only reference of black is in America. People without no nation, no history. You know what I'm saying? And we do have history, but we're too ashamed to call us what we are. And then when people do call us off, we're radicalists, we're separatists, we're everything but that. You know what I'm saying? We're everything but that. And, you know, and now if you look at how education is going on, they want to take education away because you look at hide things in books so long before they come out and before people start reading and saying, hey, that's not right. Wait a minute, what's going on? You know, like this one dude online, he said, this is an Indian, this is a Native American. You see the difference? You see the difference? You see the difference? He said, the Indians look like us. Native Americans does not. One replaced one another. You see what I'm saying? So at the same time, you know, is the fact that we didn't know who we are. And, you know, and it started then from going from Negro to black to African Americans, you know, African Americans. How can you be from African American? That means we all from Africa with the mathematician proved that there's no way possible that all of us are from Africa. Some of us are here. So let's get it right. We need to know our history.
So who would you be referring to, Steve Prince? Would you be referring to the Moors that were already here in America? Who are you referring to, sir?
Well, you can refer to the indigenous people, which we know as Indians and not Native Americans. We could say
aren't Indians also black as well?
Yes, they are actually. And Moors is just to describe it as just saying you're dark complected.
Okay, you know, so would that not be considered Indian? We're not Indians also considered black? Was not Latino also considered black?
Yeah, all of us fit. Moors was like
when they divided us from the boats, they started giving people different names, and because of where they were, according to the equator or the sun, it would change the skin color.
Because they was called Moors in England, they was called Moors in Ireland, they was called Moors in Russia.
So tell us about that, Steve Prince.
They was you trying to say they was called Moors in the history. If you read the history books, this show was too small for that.
Just give us a little context.
I'm just saying, when you hear somebody say they're Moor, you always take it as a radical black racist movement.
And what is a Moor, Steve Prince?
It's just your nationality, who you are.
Okay.
The reflection. So you're a Moorish American.
So I have a question for you, C. Prince. When they talked about Abraham Lincoln chopping down the cherry tree, what did he really chop down?
See, we're gonna leave that alone right now.
I mean, you're very educated. You're a historian.
We educated.
Would you please educate me on that?
I mean, we educate on a lot of things, but this right here.
Question specifically, please. When Abraham Lincoln chopped down the cherry tree, what did he actually chop down? Let me spotlight you real quick.
Yeah, I know you're really trying to spotlight me.
There you go.
Well, we gonna leave that alone right now.
No, can you answer that one little question though, please?
Because it's not one little question.
I know. I'm just asking that question though.
It's a one little question that leads on to another question.
I won't. We won't go no further down the rabbit hole.
Because you need to go on and understand it. Because what he's referring to is the Treaty of Friendship and Peace between the United States and Morocco government, and that's what he's referring to. And he's talking about the Moorish flag that flew in this country.
What happened to the Moorish flag?
That it was replaced by the United States flag.
And how did they do that?
They took it, they lowered it. They took it down.
Okay. I was just wondering, okay, I appreciate that education. So what you're telling me throughout our history, because a lot of people don't know our history, when they tell us the story about Abraham Lincoln chopping the cherry tree down, the cherry tree was symbolism actually for the Moorish flag, because the Moors were already established here. That's why Christopher Columbus couldn't discover something that was already discovered, because the Moors were here. And so when the Moors were here, they traded with the Native Americans to take over land. And when they took over land, they wanted
wrong terminology.
Well, help me out. Please correct me.
It wasn't Native Americans, it was Indians.
Indians.
They were not. They was indigenous here.
Indigenous, yes.
That's why you got
when Obama freed the indigenous people. Who was he talking about? Indigenous. Who was that all inclusive of? When he said he was freeing the indigenous people.
When he signed the Indigenous Act for the United States, he signed it.
Well, who was that about?
The indigenous people was here before the Native Americans.
Yeah, and who would that be?
That would be people like us.
Who are we?
People who look like us.
Who looks like us? Can you educate me?
The Indians.
So Indians look like us, but Indians come from what?
They were here.
Yeah, but where do Indians come from?
Be more specific.
Where do Indian people come from? Were Indians really Indians, or were Indians actually black people?
They're us, indigenous.
Oh, so Indians
like
are
indigenous to the name. They're indigenous. When you say indigenous, they're part of the land.
We're getting somewhere. I just wanted to.
Yeah, I'm saying
everyone comes from.
You can't go.
Everyone comes from a black person. I just wanted to get the clarity that
you can't go to a conversation.
Are actually all black, but yet they separated us and they took us and they created different divisions. And that's the same thing with this DEI thing, that they're creating divisions and walls and sectionals to keep everyone divided. Because if we ever knew who we were, we'd be able to unite and become. Because the scariest thing to the system is unity and love. I just wanted to know. I was just trying to put that out there.
No, I mean, it just
if you're gonna open that up, red pill, blue pill for us real quick, see Prince.
Yeah, you got to take people when you talk about stuff like this. You have to actually take them from the start and not in the middle.
Well, no problem. How about next time we do a show on that, and you could take us in on that journey, please?
Because the start is.
Now, I'm not. That's not an hour. Take us on that journey.
That's a long journey because you got to read. Okay. You have to read. Because
final comments, see Prince. What you got for us? Final comments.
I think people should read if they want to know who they are. Read. Yeah.
What should they read? Can you give them a book? Can you give them a reference?
I'll give one next time because I got a lot of books in my head.
Just give us one. Just give us one. One quick book, real quick.
Nah, I got to make sure I give them the right book because.
And then there's no such thing as reading the wrong book. Just give us
a book. It's always a start. Because
just give us a book though. It's okay.
When they gave me, what book did they give me? I gotta remember.
What book did who give you?
When the older gentleman gave me.
He gave me a book. Older gentleman. What was he?
Huh?
He
was the older gentleman was actually he was about 80-something years old.
Yeah. Who was he? What was he?
He was a field crop. He was a field crop. He came from Alabama, was field cropper hands, all that. Okay. He told me, I don't know who I am and stuff like that.
So what do you mean by that? When people tell you you don't know who you are, what would that statement possibly come from?
Meaning that we're paired. We go to school to learn what they say we are, and we parrot it to our kids, and we parrot it. We're limited by our education, but once you go outside that broad spectrum and start reading, even when you go overseas, they tell you, y'all don't know who you are. So understand this: reading and not taking what they teach you in school, basic information. But if you go just in that scope, you'll never know who you are.
Thank you, C. Prince. Hey, Noah, any final comments, or you're good to go?
No, just this was a great show. Like I said, I'm not normally on this side of the camera, so thank you so much for having me. It was a blast. And learn yourself, know yourself,
Great
That's
quote.
all I got.
Well, that's our show. We're back. You'll check us out next Thursday. We'll be here at the same time. We love you guys. That's our show, Whispering to Your Soul. I'm your host, King Jacquel Martin. I'm here with the lovely Ayla Well, and I'm here with the first person that was ever born on Earth, Mr. Charlie Prince himself, C. Prince, the legend.